Ken, I'm gonna get you on this. Have you talked to, give it to, here, okay, I got it. Gloria, can you call the names for public comment, please? When we get there. You sure neither one of them are coming?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know about Congress, but
Okay. We're gonna call this meeting to order. It's the 262nd session of the 18th Council. This is a study session on November the 16th, 2021 at 6 p.m. We're gonna call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, would you please do roll call?
Carter. Miller. Petola.
Present.
Shramsky.
Present.
Taylor Burks.
Present.
Waterman. Williams. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Can I have an authorization to excuse Council Pro Tem Carter and Council President Williams, as well as Councilwoman Waterman?
Move to excuse all of them.
Did she move?
I did
Lower your
move.
mic. We can't move them closer to us. Doris, please lower your mic.
I did.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Megan, you can't nod your head.
No, I didn't hear her say move.
She did.
Okay.
That's why she was asked to lower her microphone down. Thank you. So we have a second and we have a move. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Miller.
Present.
No, this is to excuse.
To excuse.
Petola.
Yes,
Shramsky.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
4 yeas, no nays.
thank you. Is there any amendments to the agenda?
Councilwoman Pila.
Approval of the agenda?
Councilwoman Pila.
Yes.
Councilwoman Waterman is requesting that number 10 be removed because there is going to be additional information that will be forthcoming. That's the resolution to request enhanced pension benefit needed supplemental actuarial report.
That's fine, and being that she is the chairperson of the GERS and I believe the finance subcommittee, we'll.
Madam Chair, if I could interject.
Sure.
So Councilwoman Waterman is not here today, so the motion would have to be made by somebody present at the council. She can't make a motion.
No, I'm not
being
trying to make a
absent.
motion. I was making the recommendation for council two.
Okay.
If another
Is there-
member wants to make the motion, they can do so.
Okay, I
Is
just
there
want to make
one
sure
of
we're
the
on the same
finance-
page.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Is there one of the finance subcommittee that would like to make a motion to amend this,
I mean, remove it from the agenda.
to remove it from the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, being that there is none,
Okay.
we're gonna go.
I
vote.
did.
Taylor
Oh,
Burks.
Taylor Burks
Okay.
did. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Shramsky, was that you?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Roll call. Oh, wait a second, let's look at number 11. Okay, roll call.
Petola.
Yes.
Shramsky.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Miller.
So
3
we're on to
yeas,
3 yes and 1 no.
1 nay.
Doesn't pass. It
Right.
failed.
Right.
It will stay on the agenda. Is there an approval of the agenda? Can you take the roll call, please?
Shramps, oh, you need a moving.
I'll move it. I need move and support to approve the agenda as it is.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Shramsky.
Yes.
Taylor Burks.
Yes.
Miller. Yes. Petola.
Yes,
4 yeas, no nays.
thank you. Approval of the minutes?
Support.
Roll call?
Taylor Burks,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Petola,
Yes.
Shramsky.
Yes.
4 yeas, no nays.
Which will bring us to public comment. Public comment is 3 minutes. Councilwoman Miller, read for us, please, the names.
Okay, the first one up is John Smith. Oakland Cemetery.
Right
Back
back
there in the
there.
podium. And on deck is Lloyd, I believe it's Gary.
Gary.
Gary, okay.
Good evening, council. This is my second time being here in years. I was here several weeks ago speaking to the council over at Bowen Center. And it's regarding Oak Hill Cemetery. And this is my parents' gravestone, which is tipped over. You'll never know it's them. I know it's them because I frequent there regularly. I have other pictures of other stones that are turned over. As I said last time, this is in regards to a storm that came through in the latter part of July of this year. To this date, as of yesterday, these pictures were taken. Now, unless things were straightened up today, then this still remains the situation. But I spoke to the head at the office of Oak Hill and in Waterford. The first time, she said they were still working on it. There were things in Pontiac that had to be done first before they took care of this. Waited a few weeks, called back again, and I was told that there was some litigation being studied as to how they would handle that, and they're working on it. A few weeks later, I called back because nothing had changed, and I was told that I should come to the council and make my issue known, which I did a few weeks ago. Today, I have some pictures to show if any of the council are interested. But I'm still asking, you know, and strangely enough, those pictures that I have today are veterans, as well as a couple of them were Pontiac police officers. So, I mean, what's happening? Can someone give me an answer? I know that's my parents, but nobody else would know.
Mr. Smith, out of respect, we can't answer you right now. Maybe after the meeting, we can speak with you, okay?
Okay, could I say this?
Sure.
I was taken aside after the meeting the last time, and I think I spoke to the deputy mayor, and he called me back in a couple of days and said that he had just spoken to the head of the DPW, and that they would be calling me very soon. As yet, I have not received a call. So that's where it stands. So if I go back in the back again and speak to someone again, will anything change? I rest my case.
Yes.
I rest.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. As I stated, we can't speak to you right now. You maybe want to see the administration again, or speak to someone over against the wall.
Okay, you have the attorney here this time. I was just
Okay.
wondering if he
Okay, maybe the
can
attorney will
address
speak
the
to you.
situation as far as when the time that I was told that they were trying to figure out how to handle the insurance and the legal matters with regard to this. I understand it was a natural disaster that caused all of this, but it was in July.
Yeah, sir, unfortunately, I'm not going to provide legal advice or consultation during public comment. I just don't have enough of the facts or circumstances to do that.
Okay, time is up, Mr. Smith. You have 3 minutes, and your 3 minutes have expired.
Maybe when the council's over, Mr. Smith, you can speak with someone, okay? If you could stay around. Okay, Mr. Lloyd, what is it, Gary, you said?
Yeah.
And on deck is Chuck Johnson.
Well, anyhow, I ain't had much time to go back and look if there was any progress done back by Osmond Lake. A lot of family things going on, other projects, but I didn't have no time to go through all the paperwork. But the only thing I'm really going to ask for is to make a path through there, put in a couple picnic tables, let somebody enjoy it besides the guy that has all the bullet holes everywhere, shooting the deer, still popping the guns. I sat right there and you can hear him. I mean, it's plain as day. And one of these days, I keep telling you, I'm sounding like a bad broken record, a bad penny. But one of these days, somebody's going to be noodling through there and he's going to pop somebody. And then I say, well, I gave him my best shot. But put up some picnic tables, make a path, let somebody know they're back there. I know there's going to be bad apples from time to time, but don't spoil it for everyone else. You know, doing the best I can with this mess. But next week, I will do my best to have paperwork, things showing where people who owns what, and I'm gonna like a little pencil. I'm just gonna keep beating it down until there's nothing left, and I will find out who cut the trees down. I will find out somewhere something. I'm slow, but I'm persistent. I'm gonna keep right on noodling it till somebody either pays attention or gets the ball bouncing. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Chuck Johnson. And on deck behind Chuck is Kevin Stewart.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, those of you here in the audience and those of you at home watching by television. I don't have a whole lot on my mind this evening. It's great to see a lot of folk here in the council chambers tonight. It's too bad we don't have a full council to see this array of folk that's concerned about our government. However, that's going to change soon, I hope. My concern tonight pretty much is item number 8 on your agenda. It has to do with batch 17 demolition effort that the city of Pontiac is trying to initiate. It appears to me that has moved from one contractor to another contractor for whatever reason. I guess we call it the second low bidder. Evidently, someone felt that the first low bidder couldn't do the job. However, I think this is on the agenda for approval by the council, and if it is, how would the council know what they would be approving? There's no dollar amounts here on the agenda, and there's no indication that the council even aware that this change has been made, unless they looked at their packet and found it. I still feel that these properties that are up for demolition should be held off for a while. They've probably been sitting for the last 8 or 10 years anyways. So I think they should just sit until the new administration comes on board, and then the new mayor and the new council will be able to look at these properties and decide whether all 17 of them should be torn down or if some of them can be saved. And on the other hand, I don't think all the properties even belong to the taxpayers of the city of Pontiac. I think they belong to Oakland County, and we're spending our tax dollars to do somebody else's job and work. So let's leave this lay until, council, if you will, lay until the new administration comes in and the new council comes in, and then we can review all these demolitions that are coming forward and see if we can't save some of this housing stock and find out just who owns these properties and who should be liable for them. With that, thank you very much and good evening.
Okay, is Kevin Stewart who's in the building?
Kevin's not here.
Okay. All right, is it David? Okay, Renee? Okay. And Billy Swayzer is on deck.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, everyone in the audience. I am a volunteer with the Pontiac Skatepark project. I spoke with you before last month, and the good news is that we have raised over $70,000 now. That qualifies us for the grant. It's a double-edged sword, though, because $70,000 doubled is only $140,000. And $140,000 doesn't build you that great of a skate park at the moment. I know we have ARP funds, and I think as a nice send-off for your tenureship to the city of Pontiac would be to approve some of those ARP funds to go to pay off the rest of what we need to build a skate park. I know people have questioned the need for a skate park in Pontiac, but I've been thinking a lot about that lately and about how it relates to the kids here. And if you look at team sports nowadays, which a lot of kids here play, a pair of cleats cost $150. That's just for cleats. And then you take in, coaching, times you can do it, places you can do it. Skate park never leaves. The skate park's always there. And you don't always have time. And you have a great community of skateboarders already here. And those are your coaches. So this could be generations of kids who get to benefit from this. And I can't make much more of a plea than that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Billy Swayzer, and on deck is Yvonne Matlock.
Good evening. My name is Billy Swayzer, and before I came to this meeting, I heard that both of the Ottawa towers had been sold or flipped, and I was just wondering if the city of Pontiac bought those Ottawa towers for a private company, a private citizen, and then gave it to them, leaving that the city exposed, we wouldn't have any liens or any information on that for 2 years, so that they could then turn around and flip those properties. And then I wonder, are we still in debt for that properties for 100 years? Because it sure sounds like a scam to me. It sounds like we're buying stuff for some business people. They're flipping it, making money off of us, charging us top dollar interest rate, and then turn around and allow the business people, which they said they was just helping the businessmen in Pontiac. Now, I guess we're helping them, but on our dime. And I sure hope that we are not paying to help somebody buy some land, and then they flipping it, they making money, and Pontiac citizens end up paying the debt. 100 years is a hell of a long time, a long, long time. Never heard of such a thing. And it seems like it should be and probably is illegal. I certainly hope it is, and I hope the state's attorney general finds out, and who all are involved in this are prosecuted to the full extent of the law, including jail time. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Ms. Yvonne Matlock, and on deck is, I believe it's Janice Green.
Good evening, Mayor Waterman, Pontiac City Council, and citizens of Pontiac. My name is Pastor Yvonne Matlock. I'd like to invite everyone next Tuesday, November the 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. to our Calvary Missionary Church, 1361 Giddings Road in Pontiac. Our hearts are grieved for the tragic loss of lives in our community. We want to come together to pray for those who've been devastated by the loss of their loved ones. The date again is next Tuesday, November the 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and the place is Calvary Missionary Church, 1361 Giddings Road here in Pontiac. Let's come together and pray. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Green. You're next.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Waterman and the City Council. And I must say good evening to one of my students, City Clerk Wayne State University. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am Janice Green, and I'm with the Oakland County chapter of the Links Corporation. Many of you may not know of the Links. We are an international, not-for-profit organization with over 160,000 women, professional women involved in community service and friendship. Our area of service is the Pontiac community. This is where our heart is. This is where we believe. This is where we know that the future is. And on behalf of my Link sisters, we are a small chapter. We're very mighty. I just want to share a collaboration that we're doing with the Bowen Center. The Bowen Center is one of the signature centers here in Pontiac. We love it. We know that our seniors deserve the best. We know that our seniors are who we will become. Well, I'm a senior, but then we have super seniors. But what we have been doing with the Links Incorporation for the last 6 months, for the last year, we have celebrated 40 years in the community. Of those 40 years, we had a major program, but we also wanted a signature program for our community service. Our community service is to provide upgrades and beautification for the Bowen Center. We have a committee that has been working, planning in terms of the floors, pictures, murals, just to make it very inviting and encouraging for centers to go to. We know that the Bowen Center is a home away from home. We know that oftentimes when seniors get out, we want some place to go that is very relaxing. So the Oakland County chapter of the Links has proposed that we beautify or upgrade the front room and the foyer of the Bowen Center, which we like to call it lovingly. That's our living room, our home. So I just wanted to share that with you. There's so many negative things that are going on in the world. You know, we've had COVID. We just had so many things that are going on, and we just wanted to bring service and peace to the Pontiac community. And so I just wanted to share that with everyone tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Eric Johnson and Jones live at 406 Lynch. I don't want to mess your name up, but when I get to you next time, you can tell me your last name.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. Tonight I'm here to address a concern that I have with the last election. It has come to my attention that Councilman-elect Mike McGinnis has been appointed to the Downtown Development Association Authority at the City of Berkeley. One of the problems I have with this is that Ms. McGinnis was holding the interim office of DDA director. All the while, he was campaigning for District 7 councilman. Now, none of this information came up during his campaign. And I'm wondering that would this be, because it reeks of conflict of interest with me. I don't understand how both of these things could happen, because this could probably curtail, diminish the progress of our downtown, of our city, and of course our district, because anything could happen, but to be in that position, I think there's a problem there and it should be investigated. Being a resident of District 7, you know, I want your full undivided attention. You know, and if something comes up in Berkeley, just perhaps, maybe, that might happen, and it comes in conflict with, say, a contractor or a venue we might want to have in Pontiac, I feel that that's just a problem, you know, and an accident waiting to happen. I feel myself that the only remedy to this is that Mr. McGinnis chooses which master he wants to serve. Because my question is, and I know there are legal people here, can he fairly and legally be able to do this? Because I think that's a real problem that might arise because we're trying to progress the city, and I don't want to split hairs, split authorities, split powers, split contracts, split venues with any other city but ours, because you were elected to serve the city of Pontiac. So I'm just wondering if that's a legal thing that he can do, or, you know, is there some type of conflict of interest or something of that nature? Thank you. And also, before I close, I'm sorry.
Eric, your 3 minutes are up. I'm sorry.
Jones,
next, please.
Jones, I can't get your last name. It's 406 Lynch. Code enforcement is regarding code. Would that person be in the audience? The first name is Jones? Oh, I know who it is. It's you. Yeah.
That's Mr. Sabi's thing.
Yeah, Sabic. You didn't. It's not a very good writing, but sorry, Mr. Sabic.
It's been requested of my presence to be here tomorrow.
His name is James.
My house at 406 Lynch has been classified as a dangerous property that I've owned for 60 years and lived in. I thought I would invite the citizens of Pontiac to come and see an expression of the code process. I would not rather comment further because I think it needs to be addressed with a legal process, nothing more.
James.
It's 5 o'clock, tomorrow at 5 o'clock in this room.
Mr. James.
It might add insight to this code process for your sake. Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor and council, thank you.
Veronica Taylor is next. And on deck, look like Melanie Rutherford.
Right, thank you.
Good evening, council, mayor office, and the city of Pontiac. I'm here because I live in District 7, and I love this city just as much as I tour around Michigan. But every day, it's a shooting going on in this city. I know we got new ministry coming in, but right now, not just during this time of the year, I'm calling on all these pastors. You say you're a pastor. You say you love this city. I'm asking y'all to start deeply praying and coming together to help these young people put down these guns, help these families around here. I'm tired of going from one end of Michigan and coming back and hearing family loved ones being shot every day. I'm tired of hearing how people is not happy here and people are going back taking revenge out on one another. I'm tired of hearing how we don't love one another here in the city of Pontiac. Now, I live in District 7. And if you can't put away, and I'm talking about Michael McGinnis, because District 7 had a good councilman, and it needs some work in that district. We need somebody that's gonna be able to answer questions, be on call for there, because really and truly, it's a lot of shooting and stuff going on in District 7. So if you cannot do that job efficiently, because there's a lot of people calling on, I know, I'm a precinct delegate in that area. They shouldn't have to call me to get back to somebody else. We voted for somebody that's gonna do the work in District 7 now, that's gonna be dedicated to that job, not half-stepping someplace else, and then you got to try to fly from one end to another end. Let's get it right this time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melanie Rutherford. I have a three-part speech. The first part is very simple. I live in District 1, and I'm adopting 10 families that live in District 1 for Thanksgiving. All you have to do is live in District 1, have a need, and contact anybody on my team. That would be Sonia May, Sophia May, Brian Blossom. No questions asked, but we want you to actually have a need. That's one. Part 2 is very simple. My day job, which is a 9 to 5, I might add, I work as a CCA, as a customer care advocate for United Way, one of the biggest nonprofits in the United States of America. And we're doing volunteer services at the book fair in the city for the school district of Pontiac. We need you to go volunteer and sign up if you want the information to do it. It's important that the students see us as a community at the book fair, showing them how to buy books the right way. Number 3, December the 18th, I'm having an event called Come On Sis. It is a book club that I am initiating because I am councilwoman-elect at District 1. It's going to be located at a secret location. If you want to get involved in it, it's very important. Here's why I'm doing all this. At the end of the day, we have to bring courage and hope, and we have to empower our people. We have to make them reminded that even though we're going through hard times don't last always. They have to remind them that the Bible says, the Bible says, seek and ye shall find. Knocking the door shall be open. I'm seeking for us to have a communication on the community where we understand we can get past our fears and our thoughts and everything that's going on, and we can work together. I'm seeking that we can actually get past our fears and our thoughts and actually work together to bring a betterment of Pontiac. Because at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion, but nobody knows how we're going to do it. And we have to start serving with our hearts and not an attitude. We have to start serving with our hearts and not our fear. We have to serve with our hearts instead of having animosity. Because if a person like me who was built on being ready, so I never have to stay ready, can get past myself, then surely we can all get past our fears and our naysayers. We can have our skate park. Can we not have it, Mary Jane? I believe we can. Can we actually have a community that we actually talk to people instead of talking about them behind their back and spreading rumors? I believe they can. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns about anything that I just said, my phone number is actually 248-390-0591. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I pray for my city every day, and I believe that we as a city can and must get it together. Have a great evening, and thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
I'm done, Mayor.
That concludes our public comments. Thank you, Melanie. That was lively. We have special presentation. Presentations are limited to 10 minutes, and although this is a study session, Mr. Bowman, Mr. Earl, are you here? Bowman is here. My mic is on, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair.
I can't get any closer than Chuck. The chairs do not move, and my body prevents me from getting on top of it. So, shall I leave it at that? Marcus?
Madam Chair, I'm ready to introduce this special presentation. There are several speakers who are here within the 10 minutes. If I'm ready for me to do that now.
I think Marcus can introduce his partners in this. Would you like to introduce? And would you like to do the presentation?
No, the presentation was presented by the administration, and so we do have
That's
speakers.
fine. We don't need a whole lot of time. We got 10 minutes, and
We have 10 minutes, and I would like to use the 10 minutes for the
Do
presentation.
you have the
for time
people
of
to do the
administration.
presentation so we don't have to waste time on the introductions?
Then we'll start out with Marcus Bowman and Perry Earl, who were here as volunteers. This is a matter, Madam Chair, was rolled over several times on the agenda. It actually started October the 11th.
Well, and that's why I'm trying to get it to go today.
I'm doing a special presentation right now. Thank you for that opportunity to present this to the public for this important matter.
I'm good.
If we can use our 10 minutes here to move ahead with this special presentation. This is a matter regarding the Maynard courts, in which some of you knew the history of that. And I'm going to let Marcus and Perry Earl talk about the condition they found, because this was first brought to the city's attention by their volunteer efforts to clean up this horrendous situation at this property. Later, as I did hold my building and safety and code enforcement accountable for this situation which has persisted, and now since we had originally presented this special presentation and had been rolled over from several council meetings, there has been some progress in that. I will also have the people from administration, code enforcement particularly, Matt Behrens, where you can come to the microphone to talk about what is currently happening with that, including the mandates that have been set forth by the, Matt, go to the microphone, please. what have been set forth by the both Eagle, the State Department, as well as the Oakland County Health Department in terms of the safety and security of the tenants of that particular property. Of course, that property was so onerous originally that we had figured that we needed to relocate the tenants, but because we were able to get the owner's attention, that there have been some improvements made, and so far they've met the deadlines that have been set by the state agency. So we're going to report on that. I just think this is important for people to know, because in the city of Pontiac, under my administration, we do want to protect the safety and security of tenants wherever they live, whether affordable housing or anywhere. Everybody serves the right to have housing that they can find enjoyable to live in. And so that's important for under this administration, and I hold my administration accountable for making sure that was done, in admission to the fact that this was a threat to our natural resources, and so that's why the state departments were brought in. Matt, I'm going to let Marcus and Perry Earl come to the phone first to start again, to reiterate the situation they had and to and what they found. Take just 2 minutes. I know you previously presented that, but you can give us the best picture of where we were at that time and where we move forward to this time.
Good evening, everyone. Basically, when we got to the site, we were called there pretty much as a customer complaint. We saw the issues and the conditions that the people were living in over there, and it was very deplorable. It was sewage smell everywhere, unbearable. You can barely walk through it without about to vomit and throw up and pass out at the mouth. They were filled with trash. It was trash everywhere. It had been like that for over 6 months. So for those who don't understand, this wasn't a election publicity stunt or a campaigning thing. Garbage had been like that well longer than the campaign was going on. So we came over there as a customer service response to make sure that those people had what they needed and to make sure that we accomplished what we needed to accomplish, which was removing the trash, making sure that the landlord upheld his bargain, because from what we were told, they all were paying Section A. So they had mandates that they had to follow as a landlord to make sure that tenants were getting the best quality of life and they wasn't upholding their standards. And we also made sure that we addressed it to the proper channels, some which are here tonight and some which are not. And to make sure that things got moving forward, we did everything in our power to make sure that the people knew that we were holding those accountable for these actions.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Perry Earl. We've been doing this for a long time. We just was cleaning up, trying to help the residents, really. Last week we did speak with the residents again, and they had got an eviction letter. These people are paying their rent. Their house is terrible. There's kids living in these houses, and there's mold, there's holes in the ceiling. When it rains, the wash tub is filled up full of feces. And me and my partner, Mark Holland, Megan Sharamsky, Brent Baker, and a couple of other people came out there and helped us. We was literally in feces cleaning up this mess. That nobody should live like this. From my understanding, it was like that for 6 months, and the garbage truck was coming and literally just picking up the dumpster, putting the dumpster back down, and scooting the trash back. So it was a buildup. When me and Marcus arrived on the scene, the dumpster was empty. We talked to the residents, and the residents told us that they had just emptied the dumpster. So we kind of filled it up, and then we got a dumpster out there to fill it up some more. And then we was told to stop.
Thank you, Perry. I want to move on to the next part because we have 2 minutes. There's a lot that has happened since October the 11th. Matt Behrens, you're going to come forward. You represent the administration. Deputy Mayor, come to the microphone. You may also be able to talk to some of this. But when I found out about this situation, and also this has been going on, as you said, for a while in the city of Pontiac.
Surely has,
hold on,
Mayor.
I'll introduce you. I said, no, not in the city of Pontiac, not under my watch. Okay. And I'm holding accountable the administrative people who should have been aware of this. They have worked on this diligently. I'm not sure that the tenants shouldn't be relocated as of yet, but they're going to present an updated report in terms of the deadlines that have been set on them both by the city as well as not only this property had 15,000 worth of outstanding unpaid blight tickets. 365 enforcement actions have been brought against them. Why was this allowed to go on this long? Okay, that was my first question to my administration. So I'm holding them accountable, but in the meantime, we just want to make sure that this is taken care of, this is cleaned up. We have the county that's involved in this, the state that's involved in this, and we want to make sure that this does not continue on in Pontiac, okay, at this property or any of the other properties owned by this particular manager. Matt, go ahead and tell what it's standing now, what deadlines have been met, and how much improvement there is. Go ahead and say that, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you
You
very
can
much.
add anything you can
3.5 minutes
for the 2
left,
minutes.
Matt.
All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Matt.
thank you. My name is Matt Behrens. I'm one of the code enforcement inspectors for the city. And I can tell you that the situation at Maynard Court has been an ongoing situation for actually a couple of years now. And we have been in touch with the owner of the property often to get him to try and resolve the problems. We've ticketed him numerous times. We've given him many opportunities to correct the problems there. We've advised him of the sewage problems and the trash problems and the roof problems. And every time that one of the residents calls in, we do get in touch with the owner, and his response has not always been as quick or as thorough as we would like it to be. So through a coordinated effort between Councilwoman Shramsky, our own department here at Code Enforcement, the mayor, and these two folks, Perry Earl and Marcus, who are out there, literally, as they said, picking up garbage on Saturday
Matt,
with their
tell us
wives.
what the situation is now and what deadlines
The situation
have been met.
now is
What is happening?
Yes,
What is
the
happening?
situation now is that we have been making significant progress.
What are the significant?
Okay, so the raw sewage issue that has been prevalent out there in the back of the property has been resolved, remediated to a point. We haven't gotten a final inspection from the Department of Environmental Quality yet, but that is going to be forthcoming. The buildings are all the plumbing situation has been resolved to the point where all the buildings have operational plumbing at this point. The roof situation on both buildings has been in a deplorable condition, and that's being worked on right this minute. I was able to actually visit two of the condemned units yesterday where workers have been working, and they have made significant progress in addressing all the drywall, the mold, the internal plumbing issues, and security issues around the building. So together with common upgrades like carpeting and paint and other
So Matt, just to
issues.
help you move along, that because we have limited time. So you're saying that according to the deadlines that have been set, both by the state and the city, that they are now on target with those deadlines?
That's correct.
Okay.
We have been holding the owner's feet to the fire, and
Okay.
through legislative warnings and
Okay.
other actions.
As well as the other
we're working.
properties, the numbers of other properties, you're also addressing all the blight situations at those properties at the
Yes,
same
that's
time?
right.
Okay. Deputy Mayor, do you want to step to the microphone and see if you have any other updates to bring? So
Mayor.
we do want to just inform the public that we consider this a very serious matter in the city of Pontiac.
I just
For two things. No residents who live in the city of Pontiac should be victimized by a situation like this. This is a safety and concern. And of all the matters that come before me, I consider this the most serious, protecting our residents. All right. So that's why I was adamant that this be attended to quickly. And not only the fact, you've got raw sewage seeping into our soil, which is maybe potentially threatening our groundwater. That affects all of us, you know. So that's why this had to be dealt with as adamantly as we did. Deputy Mayor, do you want to add anything else into the current situation and what's moving forward? And the other thing that's concerned is that we were trying to enlist the help of the Pontiac Housing Authority because many of these people who are tenants have vouchers, Section 8 vouchers. So we didn't know what part of the Pontiac Housing Authority could help us with that. And it was also a concern when we found
Madam
out
Mayor,
that the same tenant.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, 10 minutes is
That's
up.
your 10 minutes.
I think we presented this what we wanted to. Thank you.
That is your 10 minutes.
All right, thank you.
For this to be handled real quickly after 2 years period, I think that's absolutely disgusting and deplorable for the city to have to put up with that.
I would like to say something.
Go for it. Go.
I think, as all of us as council people, I can take you to several apartments, probably just about like Maynard Court.
I know.
I'm not gonna play politics here. That place has been a disaster for years. And I don't think those people should go back to that place. That place needs to be torn down. You can't comply with Feast, and Perry Earl, and Marcus. I commend you. You guys are awesome. Because I'm gonna tell you, I do a lot in my district, but I wouldn't have did that day. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have been there neither.
That place needs to be torn down. I know people, it's been going on for years. And like I said, if you get out here and you walk your community, like I know mine, I can take you to several other apartment complexes. Not as bad, but bad.
Okay, Gloria, that's fine. Megan. First off, Megan, I want to say thank you to you. That's a District 6 property, but you stepped up, and I thank you for that.
Yep. Well,
District
yeah,
6.
it is.
Whoever's saying it, that's District 6. I've already looked it up on the map. Thank you.
I was there. I was helping them pick it up. It's terrible. I have some properties in my own district, not quite that bad, but I don't think those people should be there while that remediation is going on. There's not very many families left there. I think they should be relocated. I think that we can handle that. I have submitted to the city attorney an ordinance to make landlords relocate residents. It's modeled after some other ones in Michigan. I have lots of research. If you don't like that one, I've got another one. And I want that passed before I leave. Matter of fact, I'd like that passed in the next 2 weeks because I'm tired of this. I'm getting calls from Rothshire Court on Glendale, and there is plans to possibly tear down one of the buildings and make him finish the rest. He tried to sell this whole thing. Well, he get out of his rehab agreement and just leave it like that. Somebody's got a wall caving in on him, and that person owns their unit. We got to relocate these people. We got to sue these landlords and make them pay. And especially with that person, and I'm not giving legal advice, but read between the lines, connect the dots. I mean, if the wall's falling in because the developer did it, he should pay you something. I really want these people relocated. There's not very many people here. Enough's enough. We can't continue to just pass the buck. I mean, you got sewage, raw sewage. These people can't stay there while you do remediation. This is ridiculous. And I'd like an update sometime from someone on the 2 properties in my district. Thank you.
Thank you. Doris, you got anything to say? Okay, she has nothing to say. Shall we go further? We have discussion on the Pontiac Youth Enrichment Center. Madam Mayor. It's on the agenda.
I want to start out.
Oh, go for it.
That's my pet peeve, leaving company.
Go for it.
Okay, so are we currently still at the rec center? Are we having programs over there? I'm asking the administration, anybody.
That's something we need to ask. Evidently, the pro tem has taken, or the intern deputy mayor has taken the podium, and he's going to speak on that.
Okay.
Well, good evening.
3 minutes, Mark.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to bring some positivity to it, talk about the programs.
Wait,
that,
first question is, are there any programs and who authorized them?
well, I won't get into the authorization part, but they are programs.
Go before me, because you're not supposed to be there. See, that's what I'm saying. We didn't authorize anyone to be there. The question I wanted to ask the president, he's not here. Has the police been over there to see what's going on? Do you understand the trouble that the council's in, having someone over that building that they're not supposed to be there? We did a resolution in June, said we were done with the building. Administration begged us, pleaded with us. We came to the, you came to the council. We said no. No. The way I found out about it is, Mr. Holland, is my grandson, someone sent me an email saying, we got sports over at Pirates. I'm like, what Pirates? There's no Pirates for the city of Planet Peace. Mr. Holland, do you guys understand the seriousness of this?
Gloria, turn your mic on.
My mic is on. I'm thinking, do you guys know the seriousness of what's going on over here? You got kids over to Pirate Center that this body, which has been done for the last 4 years, disrespected, said, do not bring any kids over there. Now, that's the question at hand. Are there kids over there? Are there programs over there? Has the police officer been over there to evict them? Because we're in trouble here.
Nobody's called the police department. If we don't call the police department or the sheriff to go over there to evict, if we don't tell the captain, it's not going to happen.
Okay, so you asked
So we have to call them when they're over there.
Well, we got to do that. When they go over there, we call them. Because I'm not going to be responsible. I'm not going to jail. This is ridiculous. This is unheard of. And Mr. Holland, This is not personal. You sit up here. It's no way in the world you should be able, you can't justify for bidding that building. Who, by the way, answer this. Who's paying the insurance on the building? Is the city or the taxpayers paying for this insurance?
That falls under the city umbrella insurance. And
That's what I
so-
thought. Wow.
Yeah, but, okay, so.
Oh my God.
I hope that my 3 minutes is not taken from you guys having a discussion. But from my understanding.
3 minutes is 3 minutes, Mark. It doesn't matter who's doing the talking.
Wow.
He first of all, this discussion is between the body. It's not the audience.
So, but I'm
So when
asking-
something go wrong, we're gonna pay for this because Mr. Holland can't answer this because if he can't get past how they got there, that's just like you coming in my house and I didn't invite you. How did you get in there? How he gonna speak up? He can't. He's already illegal. He's there. He's not supposed to be there.
Gloria, let's let him say
Mr.
I refuse to argue or go back and forth. And so a conversation takes two people. And so since you did bring legal, we do have our lawyers here.
Yes, please. That's who I need to talk to.
Just so disrespectful. That's ridiculous. Crazy. Go ahead. You good. They brought up legal. They said legally not supposed to be.
Good evening, Matthew Gibbs, Special Legal Counsel.
Yep.
To the city. As we discussed as a council back in June, there was a request to the council to do really one basic thing following the council's rejection to purchase the facility. So the council rejected to purchase the facility. We had brought back a request and asked for a resolution to extend the lease at that time, and council elected to not extend the lease at that time.
That's right.
Under the law, the lease agreement is a contract that this council approved. And many of you will recall that I made this point at that June council meeting, and it is a binding contract with the city. Now, many in the city are familiar, since almost 60% of our city are tenants and leasehold occupants of properties. You recognize that you have the ability under any lease agreement, particularly under this lease agreement, to be a holdover tenant. And we've discussed this at council in the past, that the city right now is very lawfully a holdover tenant under that lease. Now, what that means is the contract that was originally approved by this council and is administered by the executive branch is a valid and binding leasehold contract. The landlord has decided not to take eviction proceedings. He notified the city of that. I brought that to this council's attention, that the landlord, Mr. Byler, Dr. Byerly, was willing to allow the city to continue as a holdover tenant. So we are lawfully in the premises, just like a tenant would be lawfully in the premises. The landlord, the owner of the property, has not taken action under the Summary Proceedings Act because he's very favorable to the city to try to resolve all of the programming that had already been pre-scheduled for the year to continue at the Pontiac Youth Recreation Center on Golf Drive. Now, Deputy Mayor Holland has been extremely active in trying to find alternate locations. And this council is likewise, as the public is likewise, very familiar with that effort because it's been brought in prior presentations of looking to seek partnerships with the schools, looking to see partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club moving out of the Golf Drive Center to elsewhere. So those activities have been ongoing. But to the question, the direct legal question as to whether the city is lawfully there, they are lawfully there. No different than any tenant that has a holdover tenant in their lease and their landlord agrees that you can continue month to month on the property. As to the insurance question, property is not individually insured. Every asset of the city continues to be insured under the umbrella policy of the city. It does not increase our cost. It does not diminish our coverages and protections, that we are fully protected in that regard.
Excuse me. I now want to ask our attorney a question. Is that correct?
Monique, speak into your microphone, please. I know, it's just, we're not hearing. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, but it's not coming in. Maybe you
working.
can sit another, get another one, Attorney Sharp.
Yeah, grab Patrice.
Okay. So, Attorney Gibb is correct. So the contract was brought to you guys in June, correct? And council voted it down, and that was to purchase the location. So you did not want to purchase the location. You were also asked about the whole discussion with holding over. Council did not agree to that.
No, that's
Let me read.
incorrect.
Hold on.
That's
Let me read.
incorrect.
Let me read this provision.
Whoa, No.
Let her finish.
I'm going to read the provision in this contract. See, the premise that you're taking is that because of the fact that the contract has a holdover term and allows for holdover, that makes it valid. I completely disagree. Why? Because the material term, which is the amount, has changed. Council, in no uncertain terms, told you that they wanted to hold over. You have to have an express agreement in writing from Dr. Byerly. So there has to be an offer and acceptance, which is not there. In addition to the fact, hold on, I'm going to read the term in the contract. In addition to the fact, council took specific action with the millage.
Yes, we did.
It was cut in half because of the fact that they don't have a location.
That's right.
And they said that they would revisit that once they got a location.
Right.
Secondly, everything as it relates to the facility was cut in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So initially you said, on behalf of the administration, the reason you were holding over is because you needed a location and you needed time to move out.
Right.
That was not true, obviously, because this is like 5 months later. So all of that is to circumvent council's position, which was to move out.
Exactly.
So let's read this holdover. Any holding over after expiration of a term without the express written consent of lessor shall constitute an event of default. So no, you're saying we don't have that because he's agreed. But again, it has to be in writing from him, and there has to be an offer of an acceptance, which you don't have. The material term change, which is the amount. Such holding over shall can be construed by a tenancy at sufferance, a rental rate equal to 150%. Again, who's agreed to the new increased rate?
Right.
Council did not.
We did.
Though you are relying on the initial contract and saying, oh, it's valid, and they've agreed to the additional, they let you know they did not. So that's not true. And by every measure the council took, it was in opposition to being at that location.
That's right, everyone. That's why I stopped you when I'm saying, who told you to build there? We never authorized that.
It's not fair that you guys get to talk, and then we respond, and you cut us off.
Okay, go ahead, talk. Talk.
I cut you off
doesn't
because
seem
it
to
was
work.
3 minutes, and the
Right.
3 minutes was over and done with, so I cut you off.
Not that you-
Because it's 3 minutes.
I'm just saying, it goes back and forth. You don't let us answer, you ask questions. How are we supposed to tell the public what's going on?
Well, we just found out from both lawyers, so we found out the results that you over there illegally.
Wait a second, Gloria.
Yes.
I stopped you from talking to let them talk, so I'm not quite sure where I don't let them, where
Okay.
they're not allowed to talk.
So,
I believe they
But the
talked
discussion
and
is,
started-
the discussion came from this
That's
end.
right.
It is our discussion. It's not administrative discussion.
Correct.
And
But
and
what I'm
the
saying
problem that we have right now, and we'll allow Megan to speak if she'd like to, or Dr. Taylor.
What I'm saying is, you did talk, and then you stopped to let them talk. So they talked for 3 minutes, you talked for a while, so why are they saying that they weren't
Right.
allowed to talk?
I don't understand it.
Period. Megan, you got something to say? Oh, I see the look on her face.
The only thing I have to say is it's saying something when all 7 council members said no. Thank you.
Well, listen, as your attorney, and one of the city attorneys through the city attorney office, I would caution you on from the dais saying that this is illegal activity. It's simply not under the law.
So, but I have a question. I do have a question. So, you don't want us on Dog Drive, and then you don't want to release the money for the Ewok Center, for the building that we already own for the children. And let me just say, and if you say we didn't try to get out of that building, we did. We have pop-up sites. But the pop-up sites didn't work. And so what do you expect us to do with our kids? When we wrote that millage to 10th council, it was for a building, it was especially for the Ewok. That didn't get developed. So now we trying to develop Ewok. We came to a resolution to ask for that money to be released. Y'all said no to that. So what you trying to tell me that the money that I'm spending out of my taxes to send them kids to the parks? No way.
May I speak?
So where,
Yes.
so where you gonna put them?
Yes, you can, Attorney.
Okay,
Charles.
as for Ewald, prior to the deputy mayor arriving, this council tried
Yes.
to get the administration to act on Ewald before you returned.
I'm here now.
But when you approached, but when it was approached to the council, you did not have a plan. There is no plan. You asked for money to be released with no plan. No.
Listen,
Okay.
I have a plan.
Secondly-
I've been working on the plan. We have the funding. That's not fair.
Secondly,
The public think that's not
I-
a plan for Ewok. Now, here's why. Y'all just not listening to the plan.
I would just like to say to council, United Wholesale Mortgage
Yes.
has
Yes.
made it public
Yes.
that they were willing to give $10 million to a facility for Pontiac kids.
Right.
Correct.
I don't believe, again, that anyone has been in interaction with United Wholesale. I've been over there myself. They're willing to work with the city, and they've said that since June.
I have been.
Yeah, since June.
But why you not over
Madam
there?
Chair? Madam Chair, may I speak to that?
No, I think
so
we've heard enough.
I think.
I think it's
All
time
right.
for us to
Too
go
much.
on to the next
Yeah,
topic.
I'm tired.
All right.
I think at the end of the day, Mary, we see that it is illegal. We probably need to get an attorney because if something happened to one of those kids over there, we are going to be liable. It's going to be council,
That's right.
council,
That's
council.
right.
You know what?
That's going to fall on us.
We're gonna be gone January 1st.
Yeah, but what if that happened before January 1st? That's my problem.
Deal with it.
So we have to deal with this ourselves. We can't kick the ball. We got to take care of this ourselves.
Madam Chair, I had
No,
asked to be
Mayor,
recognized.
We're going on to item number 4.
Item number 4 regards the, city attorney will speak to this. This is the medical marijuana commission rules. And Mr. Clark?
Mr. Clark.
Thank you very much, members of council. So, before you is the Medical Marijuana Commission Rules and Regulations. These were prepared by Attorney Chubb. They were approved today, my understanding, by the commission. I know that there's an item number 5 by the interim clerk indicating that the council should not vote on them until they've been approved by the commission. They have, which negates that issue. I believe that the rules are compliant with charter, with the applicable ordinance and the state law. I did notice that there are a couple of Scrivener errors on the 3rd page regarding references to council versus commission. That apparently was an oversight. I don't think that renders the document that at arrival. And I would ask that the council vote tonight to approve these so that this commission can get to work.
Madam Chair.
This is a study session, Mr. Clark, and we're gonna hold off until next week to vote on these, so we have more of a quorum. I won't be here, I will be in Arizona, but hopefully Pro Tem President and Waterman will be here, so we will have more. And they usually are when it comes to formal meetings.
Madam
in
Chair.
Arizona.
Madam Chair, I just have a question. Actually, this would be to Attorney Clark.
Okay, go right ahead.
Attorney Clark, I actually received several calls about the piece that appeared on Channel 4 in terms of the mayor appointing herself to the commission. And I would like to know how it is that that appointment is justified, because based on the charter, in my interpretation of the charter, the mayor cannot sit. Provision 4.109, boards and commissions are appointed by and serve at the pleasure of the mayor. So how can she do that for herself? But more importantly, the conflict of interest, 6.107C, no elective officer shall hold any appointive position which was created or compensation for which was fixed or increased during his or her incumbency until 1 year after the person leaves office.
Right.
That's in the charter.
She
Can't do it.
She can't do it.
She can't
now.
do it.
She can't do it.
Can't do it.
She cannot do it.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, well,
No, this is directed to the city attorney.
okay, I mean, first of all, she was appointed and sworn in a week ago by the interim clerk. Number 2, she appeared at a meeting today and voted. So Attorney Sharp, I guess I'm wondering why, if you had such an issue with this, why you wouldn't have contacted the city attorney's office a week ago
Because it's
to raise
appropriate for
these,
me to
wait,
address it.
let me
Go
let you
ahead,
finish, to raise these very issues. Okay, that's the proper way to do it. It's not to show up and expect somebody on the fly to render an opinion. My review of the ordinance doesn't prohibit her appointment.
This is the charter, this isn't the ordinance. And so it doesn't matter whether I said something last week or today, because by the very fact of the charter, she can't serve.
Can't do it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I just had a conversation with the clerk. Do you mind if I share? Mr. Clerk has just been notified that he has to read this charter inside and out. He has to know it. He was not aware of this clause in the charter when he swore the Madam Mayor in, because he trusted Madam Mayor to do the right thing.
Oh, no,
You
he
can never trust a person
No,
to
don't
do
do
the
that.
right thing.
You don't ever
You
trust.
always have to do your own homework.
Yeah, I really
I'm
don't.
sorry. I know you trusted her, and I know that that was in good faith. And you and I have had plenty of conversations in the past, but
So-
mistakes do happen.
And again, if I could add, I mean, there was another public meeting today that the interim clerk appeared at, and apparently didn't raise this issue, and neither did Ms. Sharp attend that meeting to raise that issue. So, and Attorney Chubb was at that meeting and was serving as counsel to the commission, so.
Again, whether I
again,
was there earlier today or now, I'm
still-
raising it right now. It's
Okay,
not,
you-
it
great,
it wouldn't
great.
be legal then, and it's not legal now. So regardless
We're not
of,
gonna vote
I'm not
on
gonna go back and forth with it. It's not legal.
Okay, this is a study session. We're not voting on this tonight anyways.
And never,
It is a
ever.
study session. This, I'm
is
leaving
crazy.
to the president and the pro tem to handle.
Mayor, I just got a comment, please.
Smart.
If I can say something on this.
I'm smart. Yes.
First of all, we need attorney, and not you, Attorney Sharp. It's no disrespect to you, but
We need an attorney.
we have the city attorney telling us one thing, and we have our attorney telling another thing, which she read the charter. The charter, I read that too, by the way, over the weekend. She can't do that. So the question becomes, how do we exactly? Thank you, Billy. This is crazy.
Like I said, Billy, I trusted,
I mean, this is crazy. We got
trusted her to do the right.
we got the Pyrex Center. How you gonna trust somebody and once you?
I don't trust her.
No, I said he trusted her. I'm pointing to the clerk.
So we got some legal issues going on here today that need to be addressed.
I need to go home and have a glass of water.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
going home.
Brian is not gonna do this. We gotta address this. Let's go on to the next one because I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk. You wanna make a comment?
Yes, through the chair. Actually, I relied upon, I'm often told that I'm not an attorney. I relied upon the advice of the city attorney, Mr. Chubb, but it is clear, based on what the section of the charter that Attorney Sharp referenced, that the mayor cannot serve on this commission, and therefore any action that was taken earlier today would be invalid because there would only therefore be 2 legitimate members of the commission. And then in addition to that, there were several other errors with their rules, which I pointed out during the commission meeting, that the rules made no reference to the secretary position, the whole closed session issue. I want the public to be well aware that's what got Warren into a number of trouble by having closed session meetings. And then, and again, it was several reference to council in the rules when indeed it is a commission. But I guess the most important thing is the charter is very clear that the mayor cannot sit on the commission.
Mr. Clerk, there's a resident in District 3 who wanted to sit on that medical marijuana commission. He has asked for 3 years. Has he called you?
Well, it is the mayor that makes the appointments.
He was
so I
going to
wouldn't-
call you. I told him to call you to get the application because he's already submitted the application to the mayor, and the mayor's done nothing with it.
Because she wanted.
So this way, if you have the application, James knows you have the application, and then that's definitely that end of the hall that's not moving forward.
Mary might was go to 6.
Good Lord. No, we're going to 5.
6.
6, we went through, okay, we already went through that. So number 6 is Department of Public Works, DPW, resolution for the council to approve the Semcog Planning Assistance Program Grant Agreement for the Road Diet Study on Auburn Avenue. Mr. Abdul, I see that you're here. Are you going to be presenting this for us?
Okay, number 6, this is Abdul Siddiqui, our city engineer, who's here for agenda item 6 regarding the.
Right, we know that. Thank you. Mr. Abdul, go right ahead. You got.
You know what?
Oh, you sure don't. Who's got the mic?
Who took the mic?
Mike? Matt, do you have the mic? Now, Matt, we just got done talking about code enforcement not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I guess you're still not doing what you're supposed to be doing. I need Siddiqui to speak. Thank you. So, Mr. Siddiqui,
Okay,
you
so-
now have the mic.
So this was a grant that we applied for through Semcog, Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. It's for planning assistance. We also received a safety grant through MDOT for
Okay.
Auburn Road. And so this grant will help us in the design for that project. So
Okay.
this will allow us to look into the feasibilities of various road diet options, including pedestrian crossing improvements. Bike lanes will be one option that we will look at. It's not necessary that we implement them, but something to investigate, and other options as well, signals and whatnot. Just, again, it's a study that we've got some funding for.
Are we gonna have any say in what happens with this? I mean, we've got a problem with the bike lanes on Perry Street with some residents.
Right.
Are we going to be able to say no to the bike lanes?
We can set up some public outreach, public meetings as well during.
Okay, I
during
want to,
this process.
please, Mary, let me have this one, please. This, that Perry, it's Perry
You
Street,
know
and
what?
Pet Peeve.
Hang on a second. Somebody just asked me who's running the meeting, me or you?
Both of us.
So you're gonna ask, may I speak to this, Madam Chair?
Yes. We both run it. We both colleagues.
yeah.
But go ahead, Mary, and when you get done, I would like to speak on
I
it.
don't have anything to say. I just want you to do it properly, so I don't have to listen to him over there. So, did you?
Yes, I have something to say.
Who has anything to say? Megan, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. I want to know if that will be in the contract. Is this supposed to be a trial? I hope there's none of that. And I'd like it in the contract to say who decides.
So let me just put this out there. You're very rarely gonna find a construction project getting done that's on a trial basis, you know?
Okay.
I mean, no one's
Okay.
gonna spend millions of dollars.
Okay, just when you said MDOT made me a little nervous.
It's not MDOT. So
But
this
you
is
said
not-
with a grant with them, just made me a
with
little
the grant.
nervous.
It's not,
Okay.
MDOT has no
Okay, so
involvement.
Semcog,
Sorry, so MDOT has no involvement in this.
Okay.
Beyond funding.
okay, so Semcog, is that going to be up to the council? May not be us.
Same thing, so
You know.
Semcog is also just funding this. The city will be running the study and will
But
be.
what I want is,
making the
will there be, I want those phases spelled out, at what point you will be asking the council, because we won't be here. And they need to know, because they might get stuck with something they didn't want and didn't get permission for, and this didn't get input from the citizens, and boy, there it just is. That's all I'm worried about.
We
Is there
don't
some way
have-
we can put that in there?
We don't have any of the future council here with us to get any idea on this, Abdul, and because Perry Street is so unwelcome with those bike lanes.
Yes.
I think I'm the only one that says I like the bike lanes, and I'm gonna say that out loud, because I go to other communities and I see people on the bike lanes and they appreciate it. But here in Pontiac, it doesn't seem to be very appreciated. I don't wanna see bike lanes on Auburn Road if they are not appreciated. Auburn Road, I'm telling you, is a scary road. And it's not because of the shootings, but that's another fact. Although we've had people that have been arrested, we have 5 people that are now arrested from the previous shootings that occurred, and we just got that email today at 4 o'clock. So we are coming forward with that. You still cannot ride safely down Auburn or any road on a bike without being afraid that there's gonna be shootings. The shootings are not gonna happen forever, but the shootings are serious. They have 4 people that are arrested. One of them comes from Wayne County, and he's got $1 million bond. The other 3 are from Pontiac, and they are being held without any bond. That's a scary thought, because some of these kids are 18 and 21 years old. So we have to be cautious about that with these bike lanes. These bike lanes are gonna be open target for people shooting down. For God's sakes, we had a woman shot in her car. She was shot in her head on Marshall Street. That is uncalled for. We don't need these bike lanes, Abdul.
And so, Mary, like I said, this grant is not just for bikes. That's one aspect of a road diet that will be studied. There's also pedestrian improvements. I think everyone can agree that there needs to be pedestrian safety needs to be addressed on Auburn, especially crossing Auburn, right?
Yes.
So all of these are part of the diet or the road diet study. It's not just bike lanes, just one aspect of it. So this grant gives us the opportunity to get some federal funding to offset some of the cost of the design of that project.
Okay. Gloria? you-
Okay,
you got
it's
something
my
you wanna
turn?
say? Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure your microphone's on. please.
It's on.
Okay.
Mr. Dookie, I know about Perry Street. Yes, it's controversial. As a council person of the district, I will leave here saying that Perry Street is going to get someone killed one day with those bike lanes. It's very dangerous. There are certain streets in Pontiac you can't. I like bike lanes. I like to ride a bike. But when you said, I know it's Semcog, but one thing I done when I got on council, that was the first taste of bad business. They came to us just like you did, said it was going to be a diet. When I seen road diet, that means that they're getting ready to put something there that you're probably not going to like. I'm just going to tell you people out there. And it could be bike lanes, and you're not going to have a say. Because that's what happened with Perry Street. They came down, it's on tape, anyone can grab the video and look back at the date. I even gave them 6 months because I said that the residents may not like it. We came back in 6 months, we're gonna take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. It's not that many. I know people that live over there. And it's been many accidents with the bike lane. I don't see very many people on no bikes. It's not, I'm not against the bike lane. It just doesn't work on Perry. Perry is a very major street, like Auburn. And I'm just putting it on record. I'm telling all the citizens. If they're looking at a diet, it's something they're looking for on Auburn they want to do. And it's probably maybe those bike lanes because they go out into Auburn Hills going out toward the trail. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with other community. But I'm like this. You got to give the people where they live what they want. Just cause someone else got it don't mean that we want it or the person on that street want it. So, Mr. Siddiqui, that's where I'm at with this. I know you're saying it's grant money. That's where it's starting out. It's probably going to the next council. I'll be sitting at home watching and see how this materializes and see if this goes just like I anticipated.
And so,
Bike lanes.
Just another point here is we're working on. So I don't know who the they are that you're referring to, but
MDOT.
MDOT's not involved in this.
I know. You said.
So the state of Michigan's not involved in this.
Okay.
Just funding. So the city has a complete streets master plan. We are going to, look at the recommendations in that master plan and determine the feasibility of those, of implementing those recommendations. Like I said, there's recommendations for pedestrian crossing safety, pedestrian signals, median islands, bike lanes as well is in there in the complete streets master plan. We'll study all of those with this grant, and if it's not feasible, it's not feasible. And feasible also means if the public doesn't support it, then that's not feasible.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
When you said the complete streets plan, I've studied that extensively. And when planning, they had a planning meeting about bike lanes. And I was very pleased to see they were choosing the ones that were elevated and the ones that were shared pathways. And so every chance I get, and I go to all the MDOT meetings on Zoom about the Woodward Leap conversion, and I'm just going to leave you with this in the next council, shared pathways.
Pathway.
And I understand that. I mean, I've been pushing that everywhere as well. Is off-street paths.
I'm gonna go, Melanie, I see you're here and I hope you're paying attention to this. Because I think I'm looking at this and I see the first paragraph, well, actually, the second line after the first paragraph, witnesseth, whereas Semcog, in cooperation with MDOT, FHWA, and the FTA, desires to enter into an agreement with the grant recipient. Are we the grant recipient?
We are the grant recipient, yes.
So MDOT is associated.
It is
with-
Well,
involved.
these are federal funds. So the federal funds the federal funds come from FHWA, go through MDOT, go through Semcog to us. So like I said, it's a funding mechanism. They're not involved in the decisions as to how this project is designed. Do we put bike lanes or not? They have no say in that.
Okay. Because we are a study session, I'm not gonna ask if we're.
Right, we're gonna move
vote
on to the-
this
it wouldn't
tonight.
pass
We're gonna
anyway,
Pass
so.
this over, because yes, we don't have enough votes to pass it, and that's gonna waste it. I won't be here again next week. I will be in Arizona enjoying the nice warm weather, because I have family that is there, and I wanna spend Thanksgiving with them. So, with that, shall we go
7.
on to item number 7, which is a resolution to schedule a public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, program year 2022.
Yes, I would like Lynette Phillips, our Economic Development Director, to step to the podium. And she will explain that to you, and there is a time concern with this. Lynette, would you share that as well as some of the ideas that came forward from the public as well as from our stakeholders for the public hearing that we're asking the council to set?
Okay.
Microphone is not working. Deputy Mayor, can you let IT know this microphone is not working? Or check and see.
Is there a microphone down on the shelf there?
We want to make sure it carries through to the recording of this meeting.
Well, we don't have another one.
Okay, I think it's working. Good evening, everyone. This time of the year is when we submit our Community Development Block Grant application, which is due December 17th. And as a subrecipient to Oakland County, we are allowed to submit 4 projects, 4 programs. The process that we go through is with our administration, various departments comprised of building and safety, planning, our grant department, Department of DPW, code enforcement, economic development throughout our administration. We look at various projects that would benefit the city, and as a result, this year we came up with 4 projects. We'd like to schedule a public hearing on November 30th and present these projects to the city of Pontiac. The 4 projects, the first one is a child care services, where we would work with, we have 74 child care entities within the city of Pontiac. And similar to another project that we had, we would have an administrator that would provide services, support services, and also programs to advance child care. As you are aware, this is for children that would be 13 and under that would benefit from these programs when their parents are working, but also to help them further their education, and many of them are at risk. So there is a recommendation for $75,000 to enhance services for children 13 and under. The second project is for code enforcement. As you're hearing about the codes that aren't enforced because of really staffing, and this is a proposal to add a staff person. This $75,000 would include their salary, benefits, and some equipment. This person would be for rental, and their title would be rental enforcement representative. And they would work both in the field and in the office. They would be out enforcing, codes and the penalties, and also generating reports. The third project is for economic development technical assistance. And again, this is a project that you probably haven't seen before, but this is to provide support and technical services to small businesses. Councilwoman Miller you actually referred a business to me, My Nana's Kitchen. A woman came, she had a problem. She had a $4,500 DTE bill. They were going to shut her services off, which would put her out of business. But what we did was we scrambled to help her and get this assistance. In fact, we started ordering food from her business, and her utilities actually are on today as a result. This program for $150,000 would be supportive of our small businesses in the city of Pontiac that are actually struggling to make ends meet and to stay in business. And many times it's urgent. It's not like they have time to apply for a loan or apply for a grant. They need resources such as subject matter experts, expertise in legal, accounting. They also need assistance in terms of how to run their business. And this is a proposal that would actually be RFP'd out. We know several entities that could actually assist the city with deploying this program, again, to support our small businesses. And this is another project. Well, when I finish all of them, then I'm going to come back and add something else. And the fourth project is for sidewalks. Mr. Siddiqui, I don't know if he's still here or not, but you know that our sidewalks, we've actually, over the past few years, he's needed well, not just he, but the city has needed over $1 million to repair sidewalks. And you can see the improvements, and it's not just in District 1 or District 3, it's throughout the city in all 7 districts that the sidewalks are being repaired, and that's why we continue to ask for funding, to repair sidewalks. Now, these 4 projects pardon me, I'm sorry, $498,883 for sidewalks.
How much was for the economic development, if you don't mind?
$150,000. And in addition to that technical services and those support, that could actually provide some short-term gap funding for businesses that are in an urgent situation. Now, this is a project, and we haven't gotten to the ARP, but we would like to leverage these projects and these fundings and try to actually grow and develop, economic development, small businesses, and technical support.
Question for.
All right. Thank you, Lynette.
Are there any questions,
Yes,
or do I get to
there are
ask that?
questions
Okay.
for Gloria. first.
Yes, I do. Lynette, it's ironic that you mentioned these sidewalks. When I was on council, I pushed for all the money to go on sidewalks. But I got a disturbing call last week. Wasn't in my district, but all the city of Pontiac, I feel that I serve. And some of the sidewalks that has been repaired or fixed prior to this are cracking, and they look bad. Have you guys went back and looked at some of the work that they have done already? Some of the residents say they're falling through them.
I mean, I can't generically speak to the conditions of the repaired sidewalks, or even, like what street or when was it repaired, or,
We need to get together before we vote on this next week, because I don't know who's doing the sidewalk, but from what I'm hearing, this coming from residents, that they are bad.
That's a DPW.
I can't say that the process, they're RFP'd out to a contractor.
Okay.
There's certain specifications, again, I'm not from the technical side, but, certain type of cement, certain,
I'm going to
specs
shoot
for
some pictures
process.
out to you, email, and I'm going to show you some. It's really terrible.
Bring it to DPW, Gloria, because they're the ones that hire the contractors.
But she need to know as well, because
Well,
we're getting
let
ready
her-
to distribute
let
more
her-
money out. I
Let her
mean,
know, but it's DPW that hires the contractors. So if the material is faulty, we need to let DPW know so they don't hire them again, because she doesn't have a say in that. She only has a say in how much money we get and where we put the money at.
that's all good and fine,
So
but
you wanna bring it to
but if
DPW?
I start at that level, she'll go down to DPW, I'm sure, because this has to be handled, because
And if you could provide,
I
the
will,
area
I will. I'm
and
gonna
refer
ride
to.
over in a couple of districts, and I'm gonna show you what's going on. It was brought to my attention that they are terrible. It was worse than when they started.
Okay. Doris, you got a question?
No, Madam President, I don't have a question, but we are at an hour where our time is running out, and new people will be sitting in these seats.
You're right.
So I feel that we should just let it be. They will be here in just a few more weeks.
We still have a month and a half. They have a deadline.
And we have a deadline to submit an application. We cannot leave this money on the table for community development block grants. Now, we have to move forward with.
Lynette, what is your
Well,
deadline?
if you were doing something with the money, it would be a different,
But Doris, I sat.
I'm done.
I sat
Go
on the
ahead.
coordinating council, and we have to submit this
Okay, whatever.
in time.
Annually, every year, we submit projects. Last year, one of the projects that we
were late.
proposed, well, we weren't late. No. We were very timely in submitting our application. I presented, as I did this time last year, we had our public hearing on one of the projects, which was for public safety, which would have provided security cameras around the city. We decided not to do that one, but again, we bring these projects to the body, then have a public notice with a public hearing for the community to decide, what they want, or at least voice their opinion. So that is the process. We submit our application to Oakland County by December 17th. It's very timely that from tonight that we publish the public hearing so that we come back on November 30th, we can proceed and get our application in on time.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I just have a question. So in terms of this programming, if you schedule the public hearing, is it possible to provide the public with additional options? And the reason I asked the question in terms of the child care services, so it's $75,000. This is in conjunction, you work with Head Start. Well,
No,
already.
we don't work with Head Start. We work with the child care, like the daycare centers, the local daycare centers. Some of them have different curriculums, but we have 74 daycare centers within the city of Pontiac that registered. We communicate with them.
My understanding when it comes to children, it's very paper intensive. There's a lot of liability with it. There's just a lot of red tape when it comes to these type of programs. And that's why council had steered away from children and some of the senior programs.
Right, because I want to say my daughter uses a family member for daycare. She has a daycare facility. But both my daughter and my stepdaughter had to pay for the child care services. So are you?
I was going to say, this is not for centers. This is for services for daycare centers. It could be like if you have a child care or daycare within your home, you're providing services. We're not dealing with the facilities. We're trying to provide services for the children and for their parents. It could be, like better parenting kinds of skills. It could be helping the children learn how to read. Literacy. But it's services, child care services.
So, and then the code enforcement representative, that one is $75,000. So that is going to be for an individual to deal with the rental property compliance, correct?
Correct.
And then because it's CDBG related, then that means certain areas. That's not for every area. So it's got to be certain areas that qualify.
For the
That's
city.
not correct?
This person would work for the city of
Give
Pontiac.
me a minute. I don't mean to be disruptive, council or legislative council. I'm sorry. Are you taking George Pfeiffer out of this? He is a rental inspector through Wade Trim. Are you cutting out Wade Trim that we won't
No,
have
this is
winter?
an added position.
You just heard we have problems with code enforcement already doing their enforcement, what they're supposed to be doing. Now you're gonna put another task on them?
No,
Let's get
adding
them doing it
another
the right
person,
way.
adding another person to their team, not taking one
Let's
away.
get another person to work with code enforcement instead of rental inspections. We have a rental inspector and he's damn good. Thank you very much. Child care services, we have never approved child care services in the 12 years that I've sat on this council.
Nope.
And we've had conversation between us while you were talking. This is not something we're interested in. So there's there's two spots you can find because we are not voting on a hearing tonight. So you've got another week to find other services that you can use this $150,000 on. Thank you.
Amen.
Well, let me say one other thing, because here's the application.
Time is running out.
So, and within this application, there are probably, 300 options in terms of projects. That's why internally, we look at projects, and programs for the city. We just vet them internally.
This is
But
what
let me
happens.
just ask you this question. How would you like to proceed?
I would like you to put more money on sidewalks. I
Thank
think our
you.
residents
So
are really,
sidewalks
we
and
need a lot of
streets.
people's sidewalks fixed.
Sidewalks and streets.
Yes.
There you go.
Well,
Because
well,
the
okay, let me just finish. Because if
Hold
we
on,
schedule the
Lynette,
public
Lynette,
hearing,
Lynette.
we can always modify.
Lynette, let me help you.
Whoa.
Okay. She didn't hear me from the microphone. I
Okay,
didn't want to
you
help
know
you at
what?
this particular juncture.
We've already
Let me,
said it. Madam Mayor,
this-
you do
we're
not
done.
have the floor. Madam Mayor,
my-
we have already said we would like to find other things, and
Yeah.
she has a week to do it. Thank you. Now we are
We just
moving
wanna
on
set
to
the
item
public
number
hearing.
8.
This is what this was about, set the public hearing, so
We're not gonna set it today.
timeframe we're working on.
We're not setting a public hearing. This is a
Okay.
study session, and we are not voting on it.
All right.
If
so-
you vote, you're going to fail, so please wait until we have a full
Next week,
council.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Item number 8.
All right, number 8 is the resolution, okay, Lynette is our economic development director at the podium. She's going to talk about the next recommendation, the second recommendation for demolition for the batch 17 that you approved the asbestos, and she'll explain to you what the issues are regarding that agenda item. Please, Lynette.
So, the demolition contract, so this is again for community development block grants. This is for batch 17, which is comprised of 13 properties. We approved, well, the RFP was for both asbestos and for demolition. The asbestos contractor right-way remediation was approved. International construction, which was proposed for demolition, was not approved, which this was a qualified contractor that has provided services to the city of Pontiac since 2013 in good standing, and actually demolished 2 batches, and also a third one that they weren't the contractor. So when this contractor was not approved for no reason, there wasn't a reason given why they weren't approved, but the motion and the resolution failed. So now, so that we can complete this demolition batch, the second lowest bidder, or now higher, which the first one was $175,000. This one is for $205,000 and $666,000. This again is not the lowest bidder, but this is a contractor that could do the demolition. So one of the criteria, however, and I'd have to be transparent in this, is that CDBG is funded by HUD dollars. These are federal dollars. Within the RFP, they require that it's the lowest bid of a qualified bidder. And in this case, we're going to the second lowest. So I present before you the contract for VinCon to complete the services for CDBG batch 17. Yes, batch 17. Are there any questions?
No, Mary.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Chuck?
How did you go to a higher bidder if the low bidder is what you?
Chuck, don't even go there with us, because we had independent in front of us, and you were the one that ran your mouth to stop it.
That's right.
Gloria, you have a question.
Actually, I don't. We should go on to the next, we can go on to the next one, item number 10. We're not gonna vote on it tonight, so.
Okay, so this is study session, so we're just discussing, and this will be voted on next week when I'm not here, thank goodness.
If I could.
All right,
Something important with this, since we didn't go with the lowest bidder, the council needs to give a statement, so why they didn't go with the lowest bidder, so we don't get sued for the person.
What?
How-
Of the lowest bidder.
How can council give a statement?
There has to be a reason.
Because council voted no, and because the lowest bidder was independent, but this council, the majority of this council, I'm gonna leave myself out of this because I was for independent. If you remember, I was the only one that voted for them last week. The others voted no. For some reason, I don't know, other than I do know that we had a resident here who spoke negatively about independent, and all of a sudden, I said, we had a resident here who spoke against independent for a personal reason, and the rest of the council voted with that individual, so now we are in this situation.
Well-
That's why.
Okay, from my understanding, they voted it down.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so what what is before you is to ask for the second lowest. So if,
CDBG is requiring we accept the lowest bid. They need an explanation as to why we did not go with the lowest bid and why we're going with the second lowest.
but from what I'm getting, which I don't disagree with you, what I'm getting is that if you vote for this, then you will have to provide a statement because this one is the lowest. The other one got voted down.
This
so you
is
would
not the lowest. This is the
No. I'm
second
saying
lowest.
this is not the lowest, and so therefore on this one you would have to provide a statement if you were to vote
If we
for
vote,
it.
yes.
Yes. So
But
I'm
we
saying,
haven't voted, and
Correct.
I explained before the deputy mayor stepped up to the microphone, I explained we were not voting on this. I was not going to be caught up in the middle of it. We're going to vote next week when it's a formal session. This is just a study session. So he's out of line when he steps up, but that's okay. Let's show colors the right way. Thank you.
Madam Chair, in terms of, before we end the discussion, I know we're not voting, may I be recognized? I'd just like to bring one more point up for council's consideration. No, I'm not recognized, or no, you don't want me to?
No, we're not going to go. We're going to the next thing because we're not voting on this. So there's nothing. You can bring it up next week.
One more point I would like to add back to the International Construction Company. That company was completely vetted by our project manager and signed off as a recommended contractor.
I understand that.
Okay.
And I understand this went through weeks and months. But all I can say is the majority of the council voted no. Okay?
You're right, that
I
vote
was
was
not
like
with
5
them.
to
You
1.
know that. I cannot speak for them, nor am I going to. This is not an open discussion on this one. This is overdone with. We said we are going to number 9. Thank you. We are going to number 9.
Number 10.
Number 9, please, which is also, and Mayor, can I continue?
Number 9, yes, that also is a community block grant funding, but that's reprogramming for years 2019, as opposed to the other agenda item, just so people get the difference. Item 7 was the upcoming year, 2022. So we do have a limited amount of time to spend money that hasn't been expended for 2019, and that's why we're asking for council's consideration for reprogramming this money.
So what this resolution is for, in requesting a public hearing, is that we had, for program years 2019 and 2020, $50,000 for housekeeping services for seniors. As a result of the pandemic, seniors did not want people coming into their homes cleaning, and also the contractors didn't want to go into people's homes to provide the services. So as a result, and we want to reprogram these funds to sidewalks. It's $50,000 for each year for a total of $100,000 to add to our sidewalks, which again are in, dire need of repair. So the request is to reprogram these funds for sidewalks, $100,000. And there is a time factor here because when the program year is, then you have 2 years to do the work. So now we're into program year 2019, we're into 2021. So we'd like to get this done really by spring because it goes into the calendar year of 2022.
I got a question for her first.
Are there any questions?
Gloria?
Councilwoman Miller.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Lorraine, I would like to ask you a question. These sidewalks, I just spoke with you earlier about these bad sidewalks that I'm going to send you an email. How are you guys picking where and what sidewalks are you doing? What is the procedure? Because the council's not involved. We want the public to know this.
I am
So I
going to
got
speak
some in my district.
on behalf of DPW. City engineer, they have a map. They actually have done studies throughout the city, and they try to identify a block of sidewalks in one area. So if this is a bad patch right here, but maybe there's like 3 in this area, they try to go in an order like that. There's a map, and I've provided this map before in terms of the schedule of what sidewalks are being repaired and in what order.
I understand that.
And in detail. Now, I can provide that documentation
I've seen
again.
the map, but the only concern I have with it, let me tell you my concern, by being a resident here. First of all, I understand the map, but there are some more pressing than others. There are some sidewalks I have walked on, and they were so bad that you could actually flip over. We're really lucky that no one has sued the city from some of these sidewalks. So this is my position. Maybe the next council do this. You need to work with the council from each respective district and allow them to pull their bad sidewalks. Nobody knows your district better than you do. I love DPW. They do great work. They have enough work to do. They're probably glad if we did this for them. If the next council comes in, you need to work with the council people from each respective district and get with their resident and find out where their sidewalks are really bad. Because there's areas, I understand that you got the map, but the map is nothing like walking it and looking at it every day. And see, I done walked it, and I done looked it, and I know in my district where we need some sidewalks at. And they're not getting done because they're done in the other areas. Don't get me wrong, we need them all done.
And I was going to say, those other areas are in deplorable
some of
bad
them are worse than
conditions
others.
as well.
Some are worse than others. And now you got the situation now where they're doing the sidewalks, and you gotta go back on those.
And Lynette, maybe you need to explain that that map is done off of the census median income.
Yep.
Because you cannot do it just where you want to. This is coming from the median income of the census.
Well, the
Low
map
to
for the
moderate
sidewalk
income.
repair is actually based on the conditions of the sidewalk.
That's what I
Now,
thought.
I have actually talked to Abdul
Right.
about the process because I needed to
That's what
be
I
clear
thought.
on that myself. It's
Right.
not based on who lives there or what, it's
Right.
based on the condition of the sidewalks.
Coordinating council, that was a meeting. When I was on the coordinating council, I'm sorry, it was based upon the census report and the median
No,
income.
that's inaccurate.
So that's been changed.
I don't know about changed, but that's not current as of today.
In 2008, it was based upon the median income.
And I will say, for the proposed sidewalks for 2022 program year, the map has been updated, based again on the conditions of the sidewalks throughout the city.
Okay, because I know I've come across some sidewalks in Euclid, Gloria, you're just as right. Now, I'll tell you what, they were a 4-inch difference, and that you would have thought you would have fallen off if you didn't pay attention. And I mean falling off the earth, because it's just that bad. You walk down there, you're gonna walk on an angle, and let's hope you don't need a cane and you didn't bring one to stand up straight. Okay,
I thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you.
thank you. So you don't want to suspend on this one? No. Okay.
Can you vote for the public hearing?
No.
No, because we're gonna wait until you change what that $150,000 is for, before we vote for a public hearing.
Oh, look, I'm
For the public
out
hearing,
here. I'm
please.
going.
Sidewalks and streets, it's as easy as that. Put it all towards streets.
Streets and sidewalks or just sidewalks?
Sidewalks.
Sidewalks.
All
I
700,
think the citizen will be happy to, there's a lot of sidewalks in Pontiac.
all
You're-
800, it's not quite 800,000, but it's close to
Whatever you
that.
got, give it to the citizens. Show them something we can do for them.
All to
Put it on the
sidewalks.
What do you
sidewalks.
say?
Sidewalks.
Melanie,
Yes, it does. A lot of
you're on the
sidewalks in
next
Pontiac that need
council,
to be
what's your
fixed.
thoughts?
We can't put it on. We can't put it on. We can't put it on.
My thing is that y'all should discuss, have a meeting, and y'all do it next week, so that y'all have the right thing. And I also, although y'all don't agree with me, there are many people who are single parents here who actually need help and those resources. So I'm kind of like not understanding why you guys don't want the $75,000 for the child care. I just didn't understand. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt nobody, and I don't want nobody to interrupt me. I just didn't understand it. So I just wanted some clarity on it. But I'm making notes, so that next week when I make a speech, it makes sense. But thank you.
It's legal. It's a lot of legality for the city.
There's a lot.
Right, there's a lot to it.
It's not to the facilities, it's just to provide service.
No.
And then we've done the same thing
It's
with
to
seniors.
provide
We've done
services.
both senior facilities and
Okay,
senior services.
you know what, this is getting a little bit out of control.
Yeah, go on to the next one.
Thank you.
Again, thank you.
All right, next agenda item.
Our next item is number 11, which is the finance budget. No, I'm sorry, it's number 10. Number 10 was not voted to put it on hold, so. Resolution to request the enhanced pension benefit needed to supplemental actuarial reports. Darren?
Yes, Madam Chair. I will introduce the part that Darren has information on.
Yes,
Many-
Mr. Carrington is here.
Many of the retirees are aware that there may be money in the pension fund to give them an permanently increased monthly pension benefit. And so we're asking the council to go ahead and set the state-required actuarial study that is needed before that can be granted. So this one is for GERS. A separate one would need to be done for police and fire. The council wanted to consider that for the police and fire retirees as well.
And both resolutions
Mr.
are included.
Carrington, thank
Oh,
you.
you have both
Yes.
resolutions? Okay, so that's want the council to be aware of that, because generally we would put them in two
Okay,
separate-
Madam Mayor, I think Mr. Carrington
Well,
is
Mr.
ready to
Carrington
speak.
can explain that, the administration's proposal. This would also solve the issue the council tried to address temporarily last week by covering that month in which the retirees did not receive the $400 temporary settlement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Carrington, would you please?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair. As was spoken to by the mayor, we are bringing forth the, what we are referring to as the enhanced pension benefit. This, as many of you know, is in relationship to the temporary extension or the temporary benefit that has been provided to the retirees for some time. That benefit is currently authorized by council through the end of the calendar year, so through the end of next month. It's been tied, and the city is required to provide this benefit until the new VEBA begins the health care benefits. Currently, that's projected to start February 1. As the mayor alluded to, there is a gap that the city does need to address in terms of the benefit right now only being authorized through end of December. And we know based on current projections that we will need to make a payment under the settlement agreement with the city's retiree association, at least for the month of January until the benefits from the new VEBA begin for our retirees. What the administration has proposed, not only will it address the concern and the issue as it relates to the month of January in terms of providing that benefit, but it would also allow for a continuing permanent benefit of $400 or some amount to be determined to get to our retirees. What we are seeking to address is when we look at the General Employee Retirement System, or GERS, that we expect, and we know that based on the agreements that there's going to be 130% funding level for that fund. We are proposing some of that funding to be utilized for the retirees in the form of this enhanced pension benefit. Additionally, what we have in front of you is a request to meet the necessary requirements of the state law to study the cost. So we have a resolution for both the GERS and the police and fire pension system to do a supplemental actuarial study so that we can cost out what the benefit would cost, and we could bring back that information and get the necessary approval in a timely fashion.
Okay, Mary, what they've been saying, we're not gonna vote on it, no.
No. We can't vote on this tonight because this is just a study session. So this will have to wait until next week. If we wait until next week, we will still be within the December 31st timeframe. So with that, we'll go on to the next. This is just a study session.
Yes.
And the next we will have everybody, so let's go on to resolution to approve the budget amendment for fiscal year 2021, 2022 to allocate the total of $180,000 in the American Rescue Plan funding as a match for the grant for the Pontiac Skatepark, the Skatepark project, formerly the Tony Hawk Foundation grant awardee. And I guess
Yes,
Darren
Madam Chair, the administration is presenting item 11. You had heard several people speak to that in previous weeks, including some gentlemen who were here today.
Yes.
The skate park is an ARP, which people don't recognize that terminology. It's American Rescue Plan eligible funded project. And so this is brought to us because the group that wants to do the skate park has a $250,000 grant already assured from the Ralph Wilson Foundation. It used to be Tony Hawk Foundation. In order to get this grant, though, the city needed to make sure that the group raised a matching amount, $250,000 by November 30th. As you heard from them, they've only raised $70,000. We think that that would be a great project to take on as the first American Rescue Plan expenditure done by this council to support the other $180,000 so that this $250,000 matching grant is not squandered. And this would be a great improvement to our parks. As we know, a lot of our parks need improvement. This goes right along with something that we'd have to elevate and expedite our parks. I would like Alexandra Borngester to come and speak to this particular issue because she has written up the proposal as it relates to the eligibility under the American Rescue Plan Act, and this would be a great way for council to have its first strike at using these American Rescue Plan dollars, although some of those other matters are equally as important. Alexandra, would you speak to this now?
Yes, Madam Mayor. So the Pontiac Skatepark project, as the mayor has mentioned, was awarded a $250,000 matching grant. This also comes with an additional $50,000 to fund project design costs that specifically intend to lessen the environmental impacts of the park. This requires a dollar-for-dollar match at a minimum of $50,000. The skatepark project has raised roughly $70,000 as of this point, and so we're asking council to approve a budget amendment for the remaining $180,000 to make this nearly $500,000 project for the city.
Mary, you go first.
I hear you. Questions?
Yes, I have some. I'm waiting for you to go for it.
Go, Doris, any questions, comments? It's in your neighborhood. You might as well say something today. You haven't said
So
anything
it's
else. Put your microphone down so we can hear you, please.
So it's in my neighborhood, but to be, in my opinion only, we only have a few more weeks to go. And we will have a whole new council up here. And I think that we should wait and let them make that decision. We shouldn't, I don't think that we should do this right now.
I appreciate that as well, but there is a deadline for this money, and so if we're going to leverage these funds.
When
to
is the
invest-
deadline?
November 30th.
November 30th?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we suspend the rules, get this done?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, because I'm not in agreement with it. It's gonna fail.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
It's gonna fail.
This project will
And
be,
if you give me a chance, I'll explain to you why.
I'm going to, okay, thank you. I hear you, Doris, Gloria.
Okay. And I'm on record as saying I don't agree with, there's nothing wrong with the skate park. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it would be nice for the city of Pontiac, but I don't think this council should do it. One reason, major reason.
Deadline.
The deadline, it's just unfortunate for your deadline. It would be wrong of us to do such a major project, and I'm gonna tell you why, and I think most citizens will agree with me. This is the ARP money. This is for the whole entire city. So you mean to tell me that the first project we're gonna do is a skate park and not something for the residents?
Skate park is for the residents.
I mean,
It is for the entire city.
It is for the
let
residents.
me, please, the audience not supposed to talk when I'm speaking.
It's better.
All I'm saying is, I'm not done. And what I mean by that, have you had a meeting with the residents? Have you brought all 7 districts together? Because that's what the ARP money is. It's not just my district or her district. It's for the whole entire city. We got crime in this city up above our heads. We need lights to find crooks and gangsters up in here right now. We got other things that's really pressing. Skate park is nice, but you can't skate if somebody's shooting at you. And that's where we at right now in the city of Pontiac.
so we have.
So, and understand something. If we open the money up, I want you to understand something. This is not personal. Like I said I like a skate park. That's not what I said. I think it's great. But you just happen to come at a bad time when this council is leaving. It will be irresponsible of us to do that. First of all, what you guys not understanding is once we appropriate that money, then we don't open the scapegoat for it to go everywhere else too. See, you don't understand that. If we appropriate and say, give you that 180,000, the administration can take the rest of it and start doing what they want with the rest of it. And we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna open it up. That's why you guys got caught in the mess. That's unfortunate.
Councilwoman, just one point of clarification. We are only allowed as an administration to spend dollars that are specifically appropriated by this council. So if you did appropriate this $180,000.
They're gonna go there, then they did this before, and
It does not give us any authority to access
I'm
one
not
of
gonna
the
go
dollars.
there, but if you wanna call a vote, that's fine. I mean, it's okay.
First off, let me see if Megan's got something to say. Megan?
Oh, I do. I'm in favor of the skate park, but the one thing is, if once we start that money ticking on American Rescue Plans, you have to plan, and you gotta not spend that willy-nilly. It's forever, okay?
That's right.
So once that starts going, they have to start planning. They're gonna sit down in these seats, and I'm sorry, but a lot of them don't know how the city runs, and they're going to have to immediately plan, and we don't wanna waste that money. So what I would like to see, and my colleagues may not, is there any way we can use any other fund, like the Youth Rec Fund or the Park Fund? Is there any money there? Because I'm not touching these American Rescue Plans, but I am in favor of the skateboard park getting a matching grant. So I'm just one person, but that's what I think, because we have until the end of 2024 to start using that rescue plan money to identify it. And then we have till end of 2026 to spend it. And I don't want, we have sewers that need to replace, we have water mains that need replaced, lead replacement lines, water lines, all these things. We can't just go, hey, let's start spending now.
No, we can't do that.
And especially for such a small amount, $180,000. I just wonder if there's money in some other fund, the Park Fund, the Youth Rec Fund, is there money? Can we identify anything? And that's what I have to say.
I can speak to that question.
There,
Then, Mr.
Madam Mayor, you do not have the floor. Madam Mayor,
May I speak? Maybe.
you do not have the floor. Not all council have spoken yet.
Okay. I can address the question when I can get recognized.
I'm going to get you, Garland. Okay. I did not want this seat here tonight. I'm going to get him. Okay. So with the skate park, I understand your passion for the skate park. I do want the skate park. I do believe, because some of these kids that we just arrested were 18, 19, and 20, and this would give them another out. I do agree to that. They would have to leave their guns at home because they had their guns in the car underneath their feet. He was 16 years old. You're right. They weren't out there yet. And I do, coming from a family with, my son is an athletic director, he's a football coach. My grandchildren play volleyball and basketball. I understand what you're saying about the sports. But if I was to bring this for a vote tonight, you know it's going to pass, or it's not going to pass, and then we're going to have a problem. We've already heard that. So I'm going to leave it to go to the president and the pro tem, as well as Councilman Waterman next week. They all love children. They all have passion. You don't have to have an answer until November the 30th. Next week is the 23rd. I'm sorry. I know it's going to be rushed, but I can't do this. This is just a study session. And I have to, I'm normally one that will jump on it, but I can't. And we already heard that if it's brought for a vote, it's not going to pass. So it's better to not, because the way our rules are written, if we bring it for a vote, we can't bring it in front of us again for another 30 days. So I don't want to screw anything up by bringing it for a vote and having it fail. So please.
One final note, if I may, that the funds have to be in their account by the 30th, not just committed. So that's an important.
Well, they can write a check in a heartbeat and put it in the account.
Madam
I'm
Chair.
sorry, I can't. If I can bring it for a vote tonight, if that's what you want me to do, I will ask to suspend the rules. We will vote and it will fail. It will not come back in front of us for another 30 days. You're not going to be able to take the money and prorate it back to November the 30th. I'm doing the best that I can. I need you to understand it's not that I don't want a skate park. and my colleagues want the skate park as well, but they have other reasons right now, and I have to let them think about this. This is something we're talking about tonight, and I need the other three here to discuss it. Monique, I see you looking at me.
I am, just to piggyback off of what Councilwoman Shramsky asked, I think that would be an option, if it is an option, if there are other funds that council can use, because I do believe, as council has already stated in prior meetings, that those funds should be for the next council to allocate.
Right.
And so in the event that you are able to use other funds, then when the next council comes, potentially they can do a budget amendment and replace those funds with the ARP funds.
That would be good. I mean, I think it would be a lot better than somebody buying a helicopter, which I heard is something that the administration is looking at, is buying a helicopter. You thought I was kidding when I said that. I got the phone call. Somebody over here on the administration is talking about a helicopter because of all the darn murders. But we have 4 people that were arrested and 4 more that are being picked up. So they are taking care of it, and it is something that the sheriff department is working on hard, and I'm not done speaking, Madam Mayor. I am not Kermit. I'm not going to call this meeting because you're running your mouth. You will wait until we are done. Thank you very much. Madam Mayor, I remember I'm still speaking. I have the floor. You do not. Thank you. Now, Madam Mayor, would you like to say something for 2 minutes?